Some folks just can't handle seeing others shine, especially when that shine comes with the roar of a V12 and Italian craftsmanship that could make anyone's jaw drop. My mistake, I guess, was rolling through my quiet, upscale neighborhood in a sleek, midnight black Lamborghini Aventador car I'd worked my ass off to own. It wasn't just a car. It was a damn milestone, a rolling testament to years of grinding in the car business. But to one woman, Diane, the queen bee of our HOA, my Lambo wasn't a symbol of hard work. It was a personal insult, a jet black middle finger parked right in her perfectly manicured world. Diane wasn't your average busybody. She was the HOA president, a title she wielded like a scepter. Everything about her screamed, saw her voice, her teased-up hair, her ego, and yeah, her physical presence. She strutted around like she owned the place, her husband, Carl, trailing behind her, polishing his beat-up old Mustang like it was a holy relic. The guy was her shadow, nodding along to her every decree while throwing shade at anyone who dared step out of line. My Lambo, it was like while VYing a red flag in front of a bull. Diane decided it was an affront to her reign, and she wasn't about to let it slide. I'd earned that car through years of blood, sweat, and deals in the auto industry. Built a dealership network from the ground up, took risks, and hustled until I could finally park that Aventador in my driveway. Our neighborhood was nice, think BMWs, the occasional Porsche, nothing too loud. At first, folks were cool about the Lambo. I got nods, a few nice ride comments. Then Diane started circling. It began with snide remarks at a neighborhood barbecue, her eyes shooting daggers at my car while she muttered about flashy displays. Then came a note on my windshield, nitpicking about parking lines definitely saw inside. I brushed it off as typical HOA nonsense, even tried playing nice, while VYing at her like we were pals. She'd just glare back, lips pursed tight enough to sour milk. But Diane wasn't just annoyed. She was obsessed. My car was a threat to her control, a shiny reminder that someone else in Saw Kingdom had something she couldn't touch. She started inventing rules, claiming my engine was too loud. It wasn't till I kept it quiet in the neighborhood. Meanwhile, Carl's Mustang growled louder than a lawnmower, but apparently that was classic American heritage. The hypocrisy was thick. Then came the bombshell, an emergency. HOA newsletter landed on everyone's doorstep. Buried among lawn care reminders was a new rule banning non-conforming vehicles. No specifics, just vague crap about exotic cars not fitting the community aesthetic. It was a rule tailor-made to screw me over, signed by Diane herself. I tried reasoning with her, caught her one day hosing down her unnaturally green lawn. Diane, I said, keeping it cool, what's this non-conforming vehicle nonsense? My car's legal, insured, quieter than half the delivery trucks around here. She smirked, voice dripping with fake sweetness. Oh, Michael, it's about keeping our neighborhood elegant. Some cars just don't fit. I pushed back. What about Carl's Mustang? That's a sports car. Her smile twitched. That's heritage saw. Your foreign toy? It's just tacky. I walked away, blood boiling, knowing this wasn't about aesthetics. It was about her ego. Things escalated fast. Diane's glares got nastier, her muttering louder as I drove by. She'd lurk at her window, watching my every move like a hawk. I started digging, requesting HOA financials redacted to hell, but sketchy as all get out. Vague consulting fees, bloated landscaping costs for Diane's lawn, no receipts. Something stank. Then came the orange warning stickers on my windshield, citing her fake rule. I peeled them off, snapped photos, and kept VYing, refusing to let her bully me out of my own damn car. But I could feel the storm brewing. It hit on a perfect spring Saturday. I just pulled in my driveway, fresh from a coffee run, the Lambo's low rumble fading as I killed the engine. The car gleamed in the sunlight, a thing of beauty. Then I heard a thundering footsteps like a charging beast. I looked up, and there was Diane, storming toward me, face red as a tomato, eyes wild with rage. "I've had enough of this monstrosity," she shrieked, voice cracking like a bad speaker. Before I could react, she did the unthinkable. With a burst of speed I didn't think she had in her, she saw herself onto my car's hood. There was a sickening saw crunch, carbon fiber screaming under her weight. My brain short-circuited. She was bouncing saw on it, screaming, "No supercars means no supercars." Scratches tore across the paint. A dent caved in, cracks spiderwebbed out. I threw open the door, fury exploding. "Diane, get OFF. Are you insane?" She slid off, panting, triumphant. "Leah vying my law, 400,000 car, a mangled mess." "Maybe now you'll listen," she spat. Carl came running out, blustering, "What's going on?" Diane wailed. "He keeps flaunting this thing. I had to do something." I was already on the phone with the cops, voice tight. "I need to report vandalism. My neighbor just attacked my car." Neighbors gawked as the police rolled up. Diane rambled about HOA rules and community standards, proudly admitting she'd jumped on my hood to enforce her rule. The cops weren't buying it. They documented the damage, took statements, and told her she was looking at vandalism charges. Her smug grin faltered just for a second. As a tow truck hauled my wounded Lambo to a specialty shop, I made a decision. This wasn't just about a car anymore. Diane had declared war, and I was about to bring the fight to her doorstep. I called my lawyer first. Filing a CIVYL suit against Diane for the damage repair costs were eye-watering, and we pushed for punitive damages given her malice. But my real weapon was my day job. I own a network of car dealerships, which means I know auto financing inside and out. Diane and Carl's flashy lifestyle of Mustang, her designer HOA outfits, their tacky McMansion didn't add up with their vague public sector VYC jobs. I had a hunch they were in over their heads, so I checked my dealership's records. Jackpot. Carl was 2 months behind on his Mustang loan, financed through one of my subprime lenders. Diane was a co-signer on an SUV for Ellen, the HOA treasurer and her loyal sidekick, 3 months delinquent. 2 other board members, Rick and Stacy, were also in the redone with a luxury sedan, the other a pickup, both on the verge of repossession. These clowns, who tried to ban my car for lowering the tone, were drowning in debt they couldn't pay. And the kicker? Those sketchy HOA financials suggested they'd been dipping into community funds to prop up their lifestyles, maybe even to make those car payments before they started missing them. My lawyer was thrilled. The lawsuit would nail Diane for the vandalism, but this financial mess could expose her whole corrupt crew. We moved fast. While the suit progressed, my dealership greenlit repossessions for Carl's Mustang, Ellen's SUV, Rick's sedan, and Stacy's truck. They'd ignored every warning, breached their contracts, and now it was time to pay. The repo teams hit them all in one glorious sweep. Carl's Mustang came home to an empty driveway and just stood there, stunned. Diane and Ellen, though, they lost it. When the tow truck came for Ellen's SUV, they charged out, screaming about harassment. Diane tried to block the truck, but the repo guy, cool as ice, flashed the paperwork and warned he'd call the cops. They backed off, fuming as the SUV rolled away. Rick and Stacy's repossessions were just as dramatic disbelief, then rage, then pathetic whining. The neighborhood was buzzing. The HOA's big shots, who'd lorded over us with their fake rules, were suddenly carless, their status symbols yanked away. Word spread that I, the Lambo guy, owned the dealerships behind it. Diane must have been Lee VYD, realizing she'd picked a fight with the wrong person. The lawsuit kept rolling. Diane's attempt to dismiss it, claiming HOA enforcement, got laughed out of court. Meanwhile, I compiled a report on the repossessions and the HOA's shady finances, vague expenses, missing receipts, payments that lined up suspiciously with their car loans. I didn't outright accuse them of stealing, but I didn't have to. I requested an emergency HOA meeting backed by neighbors who were finally fed up. The clubhouse was packed, the air electric. Diane, Carl, Ellen, and the others sat up front, looking like cornered animals. I laid it out. The defaults, the questionable spending, the need for transparency. The room erupted. A retired accountant demanded an independent audit, and the vote passed in a landslide despite Diane's desperate protests. The audit was brutal. It uncovered misappropriated funds, fake vendors, and proof HOA money had bankrolled their cars and vacations. Diane, Carl, Ellen, and 2 others were implicated. They resigned in disgrace, some facing lawsuits to recover the stolen cash. Diane and Carl put their house up for sale, crushed by legal fees and no HOA funds to bail them out. The no supercar rule was scrapped, and my Lambo came back, its hood gleaming like new. I took it for a slow cruise through the neighborhood, soaking in the friendly waves from neighbors who'd once been too scared to speak up. Diane's reign was over, toppled not by a whimper, but by the roar of my V12 and the clang of repo trucks. It felt good, better than any car, even one as sweet as mine. Sometimes, the best way to handle a bully who tries to crush your dreams is to hit back, hard, with every legal tool you've got. Their pedestal wasn't just shaky, it was rotten, and I tore it down. So what do you think? Was I too harsh, or did Diane and her crew get exactly what they deserved? Should HOAs have the power to ban cars like mine? Or is that just petty tyranny? And how far would you go to protect what's yours? Drop a comment, hit that like button, and subscribe. I want to hear your take.